I don't know that we talked to a lot of people. I don't know that we shared our ideas with a lot of people. You know, I was kind of removed from any feedback. I would talk to Marcus and say, you know, these are some of the things that I think would be good additions to the race. And I emphasized to him that I didn't think that we needed a lot of gimmicks. I thought that people are going to be there to see racing at Wilkesboro. They're going to be glad to be at the racetrack. They're going to want to see cars go around in circles all night long. Let's just give them that. And keep it simple, keep it easy to understand. I thought that the format over the last several years has gotten more and more difficult to understand as you're following along, even for hardcore fans. So it's a bit of a throwback racetrack. It's the 75th anniversary of the NASCAR organization. So let's just have a pure, you know, fun night at the racetrack and see who turns out to be the winner.
How about going back to when you guys were wanting to bring racing to North Wilkesboro? Were there people then thinking you're?
I was not sure it was ever going to happen. So I was one of the people that didn't believe that we would ever be racing there again, much less in the Cup Series. I have to give the community and all of the people that have been dedicated to this racetrack over the last 2 decades for the credit of the track surviving long enough for these opportunities. And so, you know, it was easy for me to walk in there and go, man, let's race here, Marcus, you know, but there was a lot of things happening over the last 2 decades that I wasn't involved in. Ms. Parson, Benny's wife, a lot of people have really pushed hard to keep the hope alive, if you will. And, you know, luckily Marcus has an open mind, and we went up there and were able to do a few things in the past year that have convinced him that there's something left. And now seeing the renovations, you know there's a long-term plan, right? This ain't a one and done. There's no way they're putting this much into this racetrack to walk away after this all-star event. There's going to be a great future for Wilkesboro, and that's great for the community.
How glad were you that they took your advice about not repaving the track, and why were you so adamant about that? Like, keep it.
Well, I'm trying to think about things that the drivers would really appreciate. The one thing that you need in this sport for success is the drivers to buy in, the drivers to be, you know, have positive feedback, telling fans this is going to be great, telling fans this is going to be fun, telling fans I'm looking forward to this race. And so I knew that they would love the idea of racing on the old asphalt versus brand new pavement. And there's been an ongoing conversation about repaves and old asphalt, and fans have opinions about it, and I have my own, but I knew the drivers would appreciate the old asphalt. So I told Marcus that, you know, I knew that it would be a task, challenge to make this asphalt work and make it survive, but he needed to do everything he could to try to make sure that he was able to get through at least this race with the old asphalt. And if it performs well and it holds together and we don't have any major issues, maybe it sticks around for another year or two. There's a risk, you know, there's a risk that old asphalt doesn't hold up the entire weekend, but I'm sure they'll have everything ready to make any repairs needed, and that's just going to be part of the grace that we're going to need to get through the weekend, right? When you're going back to this old racetrack that no one's been to for 3 decades, and there's a very limited amount of time to really get it up to speed and get it ready to go, there's going to need to be some grace in terms of what you expect to happen throughout the weekend, whether you're a driver, race fan, car owner, what have you. And we got a lot of that grace when we were there in August, when we were there for the Cars Tour race. We had a ton of grace from the fans about the amenities and so forth not being up to what they would expect at an event like that. But, you know, there could be some challenges throughout the weekend. Haven't raced there in 3 decades. I'm sure everything's not going to go perfectly, but we'll work through it, you know, and I think the drivers are ready for the task.
Dale, you have a history of North Wilkesboro that dates back decades as a driver. What does it mean to you personally to have NASCAR come back to North Wilkesboro?
I'm just glad to see it happen. You know, it was awesome to see how you know, much the community's been supporting the racetrack over the years. I think that as I got to talking to Marcus more and more about what was the possibilities for the Speedway, I learned a tremendous amount about all of the people that have been propping this place up for decades. And again, I mean, there's a lot of people that were involved in keeping the track in the current state that it was in over the last several years so that this opportunity would be a possibility. Had they not done that, the track wouldn't have probably gotten the credit or given the break, I guess, from Marcus. It would have been too monumental of a task to bring it back. But there was a lot of people that cared for the grounds physically. There was a lot of people that pushed on social media year after year after year, and kept the hope alive that there may be something that the track could offer. And so it's awesome to just kind of be part of the part of the scene and watching it come back. And you get a special feeling when you go there and stand on that front straightaway before the race starts. It's a real nostalgic feeling, but it's something that it's hard to describe. You don't feel it at every racetrack. You don't feel it at all the new modern facilities we go to week in and week out. It's going to be a great experience for everybody that comes out.
You mentioned about being a part of it. You announced today that you were taking part in a race during the week. How important was it for you to be a part of the week racing?
I got to race there in August and in the Cars Tour late model stock race, and I've not had that much fun in a race car in a long time. I'm looking forward to going back and racing again and trying not to put a lot of pressure on myself. Every time you get behind the wheel or think about getting behind the wheel of a race car, you start to get competitive. You start to think about where you think you should run, how you should run, and I'm trying not to do that. I am going to be I'm going to be glad to be there. There's going to be a lot of Cup guys that are going to enter that race. There's a super late model race, a pro late model race, a late model stock race, a truck race, and then you have the Open and the All-Star race. And there's going to be a lot of big-name drivers in all those events, and so it's going to be quite a week for motorsports at that racetrack. And I think I found the perfect little spot for me to have a little fun in the Cars Tour late model stock event, and hopefully we have as good a race car as we did there in August.
Thanks all.
Thank y'all.